Thank you much, Courtney. Thank you, Scott, for sharing that. Um, our politicians, our government leaders are so important during this historic moment that we're living through. Uh, Literally, like, hasn't happened in over a century, correct? And so it's amazing that we're living through history, and it's impacting different groups in different ways. I'll be brief, and I'll plan to incorporate some music into what I'm sharing as well. Just a little bit of background, because I'll talk about the work that we're doing with foster youth, which is currently I'm focusing on three key vulnerable communities: the homeless community, the incarcerated, as well as foster youth. I can relate to all three of those. I've experienced all three. I have this famous backstory of how I went from my mom died when I was 3. My dad left. I was in foster care. I had an amazing grandmother who adopted me. She raised me. Nonetheless, I experienced extreme hardships and extreme poverty, made some bad choices, got arrested as a juvenile, went to the penitentiary when I was only 20 years old, got out of prison, then I went to the prestigious University of Texas at Austin and graduated with a 4.0, and have done many, many, many great things since. 2 TED Talks, 5 Super Bowls, and earlier this year, just a Grammy. The highlight of 2020 so far is participating in the Empowering a Billion Women campaign back in January. That was awesome. Wonderful people like Ivy and Courtney and Alan and so many other people that are on the call. Anyway, so the work that I'm doing a lot. I'm a musician. I went to prison when I got arrested by the FBI when I was 17 years old. Because I've always thought different. People in my neighborhood sold drugs. I never sold drugs. I figured out why people sold drugs. They sold drugs to make money. So I'm like, why sell drugs? Just make money. So I was smart, but I made dumb decisions. I made counterfeit money. And then I would sell it to people and I would get money, right? I share that because it's key to highlight how I think, and it's key to how a lot of young people think that are in certain situations. So fast forward, I've always thought different about giving back. For the last decade, I've served at-risk youth. For the last decade, I told every kid that was graduating in 2020, wow, that's special. Like, you get to graduate class of 2020. That just looks good on paper. It sounds good. That's going to be special. And now they don't get to graduate. And we really need to soak that up. I'm so practical. I'm married. I've been married 14 years. I'm very, very practical. I didn't have a wedding. I've been married 14 years. I think that's better. Who cares about a wedding? You want the marriage, right? That's kind of how I think and how I approach life. And I'm like, who cares if you graduate, you want to get a diploma, you want to move on to the next phase of life. Cool, but these kids don't think like that. And as I practiced some empathy, I really learned that it sucks for them, because not only like foster youth specifically, right? Not only dealing with this COVID-19, the Rona, as I like to call it, right? Like, it came, it destructed life as they knew it. But when you think about it, they worked so hard, they overcame all these odds, and then the light at the end of the tunnel is them graduating and them going to the prom. And now they don't get either. And they're not like precocious, it's not even precociousness. They're like, it's just not fair. And life's not fair, but I mean, they've already been dealt a bad hand, and this makes it worse. So in May, we're actually hosting a graduation and a prom for these young people. Our foundation, the SaulPaul Foundation, we're giving our biggest gift ever. It's quite significant, but it's to because there's so many levels to this pandemic. There are so many vulnerable communities. There's practical solutions mean the most. So far, and I know Courtney wanted me to speak about this, so I'll speak about this. I've never approached being a musician as a musician. I like nice stuff, and musicians honestly don't get paid that much money, so I'm like, I don't like that job. And I think I'm talented, so I want to make a bunch of money, so I've always approached it different. And then so immediately, as soon as the Rona changed the world and you couldn't travel anymore and you couldn't go to large conferences anymore and you couldn't work with government agencies anymore, things that I did, most of my peers, they decided to go online and start live streaming, playing their instrument for tips. I think that's ridiculous. That's virtual busking. That doesn't make sense. That's not sustainable. The system's been broken. I saw it as an opportunity to reset a system instead of just figure out how to take a broken system and do it digitally. So instead of live streaming for tips, I partnered with nonprofits and live streamed for good. And so over the last few weeks, I've been able to raise over $250,000 working with 3 different organizations. One is Back on My Feet. It's a national organization, but they have they serve the homeless community here in Austin, Texas. We raised $66,000 initially. It's more than that now. Last week, we raised $250,000 for the Central Texas Food Bank. And that's just leveraging the platform, right? Like artists have a lot of influence. We have a platform. You have these organizations that need to find a way to cut through the clutter. So we partnered with them to create these unique opportunities. This week, we're working with the Ceiling Foundation. They do mentorship for youth that have parents that are incarcerated. So we're excited about that. And now my big focus is to continually serve foster youth and host graduation and prom for foster youth on May 16th. I would be remiss if I didn't use this opportunity to extend an invitation to you to reach out to me. My name is on my hat. It's SaulPaul. My website is SaulPaul.com, and my email is the same, SaulPaul@SaulPaul.com. And all the social is SaulPaul. So just reach out to me. I would love to share with you more about ways we can be the change and serve foster youth, because not only are they graduating, they're aging out the system. And they don't have a family to go to. They don't have a house to go back to. They don't have people to support them. They don't have somebody who's already been through this, weathered the storm of something life-changing and can tell them how to do it. They've always been on their own, and now they have to go through this on their own. So we are going to encourage them. If you know anybody famous, maybe it's you, then I would like you to record a shout out. Like, it's simple. We made it as easy as possible. Remove all barriers for entry, right? Like, we want them to feel really celebrated. Like special people like Ivy, like Courtney, like people that can just pull out a phone, record a 15 to 45-second message, and speak an encouraging word into their life. We're gonna have a DJ, we're gonna have a dance party, and they're gonna get to be celebrated and celebrate right where they are in their home as they stay safe and stay healthy. In conclusion, I think that's all I came to talk about. So I have this campaign. It's called Be the Change. That's what's on the backboard behind me, and. So yeah, let's do some music. Now, I just wanted you to see this. I have my guitar, but for lack of time, I recorded it in advance. So I don't have to play it. I can just play it in the background. I can focus on these words. Okay, mic check. I think these words are very powerful. Check it out. Hey, I've been thinking about it, I should be the change. Ain't no way around, it's time to be the change. Ain't no doubt about it if you're tired of the same. You wanna make a difference, you should be the change. I've been thinking about it, I should be the change. Ain't no way around, it's time to be the change. Ain't no way around it if you're tired of the same. You wanna make a difference, you should be the change. Oh. Now, my big thing as well when I went online was, how do you create experience online, not just be online? So there's a sing-along part, and I need you to sing along here. Now, most of your screens don't even have the video on. That means that you probably don't even have pants on right now. I get it. If you do have on clothes, it's probably just top up. I get it. Some of you have a baby in the background. You don't want to wake that child. I get it. Some of you, like, you're kind of disappointed because your kids realize what you do all day. Because they're home, you're home. You can't act like you're actually having fun. Or you can't get too loud. So I want you to say, I say, yeah. I say, oh. And you say, yeah. It's very simple. All you got to do is say, yeah. Now, you might not be able to be loud. Just mouth it, because it'll look good. Like, you might want to be on this, they're going to record this. This will be the clip that we share and say, yeah, look how much fun we had today. Aren't you jealous? So, even if you don't say it out loud because maybe you're just atonal, you don't sing it, you're like, I'm not going to do that. Cool. So you can mouth it. It goes like this. I'll show you, like, and it looks like you're singing. Okay, so, oh, say, yeah, oh.
Yeah, oh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
oh.
Yeah.
Check it out. Now I want you to see what it looks like. Even if you don't say it, just like mouth it, and people can't. Like, here we go. So just mouth it. Everybody mouth it. Let's try one time.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. I'm gonna conclude with the rap.
From Dubai. Yeah.
So this is how it goes. 3, 2, 1. Question. We're all human, right? Then I think we should have all basic. Wait a minute. I'm reading chats while I'm rapping. Wait a minute. I haven't done that before, me folks. Here we go. Question. We're all human, right? Then we should all have basic human rights. And if I'm doing right, and if I'm doing well, I probably shouldn't sit and watch my neighbor fail. We could all prevail. We could all succeed. But I gotta be the change. I must be the lead. So I guess I lend a helping hand. Show love to my neighbor, but help to stand. Cause I've been thinking about it. I should be the change. Ain't no doubt about the time to be the change. Ain't no way around it if you're tired of the same. If you wanna make a difference, you should be the change. I've been thinking about it. I should be the change. Ain't no doubt about it. It's time to be the change. Ain't no way around it if you're tired of the same. You wanna make a difference, you should be the change.
Change, be the
Yeah, oh.
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Thank y'all so much.
Yeah.
Be along with
Thank you, SaulPaul.
Hey.
Let me be clear. I'm bold. I have to be. I'm like that foster youth that had no support, so I had to figure out how to fend for myself, how to be my own advocate, how to talk. But it's really not about me. I just recognize at this moment it's about those young people. But I want to take this moment to celebrate you. Thank you for being a part of this cohort, COVIDxNOW. Thank you for stepping up and doing what it is that you do. Like, we are living through history. Shout out to you because you're making history. Thank you.